I guess this is a little past our official kickoff of the trip, but we just came from Waterloo today, straight from work, and this is our Airbnb for the night. First RV experience ever. The check-in is a little sketch, but that's probably because we're doing it at night. Ooh.
Okay, so
looks like
feels
just
like a little cabin in the train or something. This is our bed.
That's nice. Microwave,
Let's
stove,
check out the fridge.
oven. And the fridge is probably.
Pretty nice. You don't need
Is that a? I hope that's the shower. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is our trip to Thunderbay, Ontario that we wanted to do for some time, mainly to also visit Lake Superior Provincial Park, Pukaskwa National Park, and last but not least, Sleeping Giant Provincial Park. So starting off with Lake Superior, our first stop was the Agawa Rock Pictrographs.
admire this pictograph.
Yeah, it's actually far more faint than you would imagine. Yeah, you can see, I think those are the canoe. Is that a moose? I can't really tell.
But this one is a serpent.
Yeah. And next up is Sand River Trail, which is an easy hike, about an hour and a half out and back, coming across, I think, 3 separate waterfalls. It's pretty decent for some long exposure photography for those of you who are into that. The last time I tried this was a long time ago, so this was actually a really nice opportunity. But by far, the best part about Lake Superior is Old Woman Bay, which there is a fantastic lookout point on the Nokomis Trail. The hike is a 2-hour-long loop that I would recommend doing earlier in the day when it's cooler, because there's not a whole lot of street cover on this trail, but also the view gets more backlit as the day progresses. After Lake Superior, we arrived at Pukaskwa National Park, and we did the Hook Falls Trail, which passes by the White River Suspension Bridge. The hike is roughly 22 kilometers in total, out and back, minus 2 kilometers if you stop at the suspension bridge. But I would highly recommend going all the way to Hook Falls for an amazing lunch spot right by the rapids. And for those of you who are afraid of heights, just be aware to not look directly down through the bridge, as it can get pretty scary to cross. Overall, I think this trail is between a moderate and difficult. It did take us about 10 hours to complete, but that's mostly because we spent a lot of time at the bridge and falls filming and eating. We also kayaked in Pukaskwa. You can rent the equipment right at the park entrance, and it's a short drive to the launch point. But just be aware that the rental units have to stay in Hattie Cove, so I'd say a 2-hour rental is more than enough, or maybe 4 hours max if you pack the lunch. And the last 2 stops before reaching Thunderbay were Eagle Canyon, which apparently has Canada's longest zip line and suspension footbridge, and also an Amethyst mine, which is a very popular local attraction near Thunderbay.
Hello. We are at an amethyst pit And this is this little purple crystal. That we have to find, alright? Pick them up into this pocket. And then we're gonna wash it up. And we may buy it if it's pretty. And we may not if it's not pretty. Or if it's not pretty, we'll also buy it anyways for a souvenir, right?
Okay, you gotta pick a few.
It's really hard to find. Alright, we got a new one here, the little small one, picked up by Brian.
It's gonna be the best one yet.
As you can tell, it's not very pure. It's got, you know, a little bit of crystal-y texture and then like a little rocky-y texture. Looks like a brownie. Okay?
No, it's a diamond in the rough.
We'll see.
Diamond in the rough.
We ended up scrubbing the rock with just plain water, but for whatever reason I was expecting to use some chemicals to like reveal more of the purple color. So it's really whatever purple color you see is essentially what you get. So just keep that in mind as you're picking these. It really does take some luck to find any half decent ones. Or you could always purchase the great ones from the gift shop. And at long last, we arrive at Thunderbay.
This is Mount McKay Scenic Lookout Point in Thunderbay. So Thunderbay City is behind this billboard basically, and then this kind of points out all the interesting locations. The most interesting one, number 8, 9, and 10, is Lake Superior and the islands and Sleeping Giant Provincial Park. So obviously that is Lake Superior. And then these are the, I think, the three sister islands, and over there, that's where we'll be going tomorrow and the day after. Sleeping Giant Provincial Park. See, that's the head. It's almost like it's lying down. It's like a giant lying down. Hence the name.
It's funny how whenever I mention to anyone that we're going to Thunderbay, the first reaction I get was always, why? So I had to justify by saying that we're also visiting the provincial and national parks along the way. But I actually really enjoy Thunderbay, particularly the waterfront and Mount McKay Scenic Lookout. And also another great scenic spot was the Kakabeka Falls, which is about 30 minutes west of the city. Apparently, this is sometimes referred to as the Niagara of the North, which is pretty interesting. And yes, somehow this is like the 5th waterfall that we came across on this trip, so yet another great opportunity for some long exposure shots. And the last stop on our trip was Sleeping Giant Provincial Park. We ended up only doing the top of the Giant Trail, which initially I thought was going to be challenging due to the 23 kilometers and 600 meter elevation. But the first 2/3 was essentially on flat open ground. And in fact, we saw many people biking up to just before the climb. So overall, the hike was pretty moderate.
Thunderbay should be right there. And I think these are the 3 sister islands. And that will probably be the Mount McKay, where we were yesterday.
So that about wraps it up for our trip. One last recommendation that I have is for an absolutely amazing
not